Back to Jeffrey Epstein, as I mentioned earlier, there are a million conspiracy theories surrounding his death. The biggest question, perhaps, is surrounding the billionaire perv is how did a guy who owned a place called Pedophile Island manage to avoid serious jail time for so long when so many people knew that he was raping young women? One theory picking up steam is that he was an intelligence asset or a spy. Former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta reportedly told the Trump transition team when he was being interviewed he cut a light plea deal with Epstein's lawyers when he was Florida's U.S. attorney because Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence, and that prosecutors were told to, quote, leave it alone. Is this a possible explanation for any of it? Joining me now, former CIA analyst and host of the Buck Sexton Show. It is Buck Sexton. Welcome back, Buck.
Hey, Kennedy.
So this is very strange because Alex Acosta, and that satisfied the Trump team. He said, yeah, I thought this whole thing was weird, but I was told he belonged to intelligence and someone told him to let it go. That was very unusual. Who could that person have been? Who is someone who could have gotten to a U.S. attorney, to a high, someone who is clearly guilty of these horrific crimes, sex trafficking and sexual assault? Who could have gotten to Jeffrey Epstein and to Alex Acosta?
Well, we've already heard some of the names associated with Epstein include some of the richest and most connected and powerful people on the planet. So I would just be guessing to actually name names beyond the fact that we already know that Epstein's circle included the true global elite. And just on the recent untimely demise of Mr. Epstein at his own hands and people talking about the conspiracy around that or conspiracy theories around it, there absolutely was a conspiracy with Epstein. And the one that we should really focus on is the one that led up to what happened in that prison cell, because there's absolutely no way, and I've talked to lots of different federal prosecutors about this, people inside and outside law enforcement and the intelligence community, there is no way that this guy got the deal that he got that even protected initially co-conspirators from prosecution for the kind of crimes that they had him dead to rights on. There's no way that he would get this deal unless someone exerted influence at a very high level on his behalf.
How high? Is it the president? Is it the attorney general? And, are we talking about the Bush administration, the Obama administration?
I mean, the guy had Clinton on his plane 27 times, or 4 trips, depending on who you listen to here. I know that's the official number that the Clinton spokespeople have put out. But it's impossible to know, Kennedy, and that's why more information is really needed, more investigation. Now,
so why aren't they talking to Acosta right now? Why aren't they asking him, okay, who told you that? Who told you he belonged to intelligence, and why weren't you protecting children? Why were you beholden to that person's assertion and opinion instead of the victims here? By the way, Acosta cut a secret deal with him so the victims couldn't even see who was shielded from the plea agreement.
There was absolutely political pressure, in my opinion, brought to bear on Epstein's behalf by someone very high up the food chain. I don't know who, or else I'd obviously be breaking enormous news.
You worked for the CIA.
On
you know,
TV.
you were listening in.
But I got to tell you, I don't think it's somebody. Well, that whole thing about he belongs to intelligence, I believe that's only single source to the Daily Beast so far. It seemed that seems just to be a stretch to me, because people in that community tend to be bureaucrats. They don't tend to be the kind of people that would make a call on someone's behalf like that. Now, somebody on the political side, if you're asking me where I would expect the influence to come from, I would think it would come from somebody who is in elected office or very high up the food chain on a partisan side of things. But again, all you have to do is look at what happened here. First of all, the guy, we don't even know how he made his money. I've been talking to people on Wall Street about this for weeks. No one signs over a $70 million house to someone just cause, which we know happened.
Yes.
No one also becomes a secret. People keep saying he's worth $600 million, I think was the listed assets. We don't know what his assets are. This guy.
You know what? I hope that is the real number, and I hope it is all dispersed to his victims through proper channels of restitution. Buck Sexton, thank you so much.
We're just beginning to scratch the surface here, Kennedy.
I know, and it is a crazy story. Thank you for your insight.